Hey guys, Brian Stevens here at Mortgage Shot. I have Jeremy Forcier, one of my good friends and one of the top producing loan officers across the country. A lot of you know him. He's a little bit notorious, but he's got a lot of stuff to say about the industry, the changing market that's in front of us, and things that we could do to better prepare ourselves. How are you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good. What's happening, man?
Dude, just living the life. Hey, let's jump right into this.
Yeah.
Best practices. Things have changed. We talked yesterday about how the biggest commodity was a listing a few months ago. Right now, the best commodity is a ready, willing, able-bodied buyer right now. What would you advise loan officers to do right now to deal with the transition that's in front of them?
Yeah. So, real simple. I don't think that things change that much, ironically. Like over
Okay.
time, you have like micro trends within markets, like buyer willing and able right now is like a hot commodity for sure. But that's what we're always focused on anyway, as mortgage people. I think that we need to really like make sure that we're focused on that. We're always looking for a buyer who's ready, willing, and able. So right now, though, more than anything, I think you have to prepare these buyers for multiple different options that are available to them for at
Okay.
different price points. So, Brian, I'll give you an example. Like, qualifying someone right now is probably the hardest it's ever been in my whole career. And
Yeah.
that's just a fact from an affordability standpoint. So you guys have to remember there's like objective qualifying and then there's like subjective qualifying, right? Objective is like, hey, Brian, you're approved to $500,000 max, right? And like subjective qualifying is like, hey, you don't want your payment to be over $3,500 a month, right? Because that's what's most important to most people. So I think it's important right now that if someone's ready, willing, and able, like to go ahead and purchase, and they're on the cusp of their max like approval or their max subjective comfort range, you have to show them $15,000 increments like on purchases. So for example, someone's buying a $500,000 house, it's listed for 550, they want to make an offer under, show them like, hey, here's if you offer 500, if you get countered to 515, or if you get countered to 530, like so that they can be prepared in advance. Because the mistake I'm seeing a lot of my salespeople make, and that the industry is making, is that they get into contract and then they're like, I just need my payments to be like $150 less. And so to avoid that, if you prepare the preparation, preparing the borrower for this is what the numbers look like right now in these little increments, then they're prepared mentally rather than getting a counter and going, oh my God, I don't know if I want to do this. It's going to increase my payments. And they go into a negative spiral narrative gap.
But let's say you have somebody who's just balls to the wall, like they
Yeah.
want, like the biggest house. Where do you qualify somebody to? Like, so you know that you've got somebody who's got reserves, good stability, good credit, all these things, and you could push them their DTI maybe 4 or 5 higher. And you got a realtor who kind of wants to go out there and do the same type of thing. When you give that person their qualification, do you take them to like the max you think you can get them to, or do you kind of rein that in a little bit?
Here's what I love about this question is that it doesn't matter what the realtor wants or what I want.
Okay.
It's what the borrower wants.
So,
So I'm more than happy to, and I do always tell everyone that, hey, you're qualified for $1 million, for example,
okay.
but your payment that you want is at 900, right? So I'm going to show you both, right? And let you make the decision, let you ask me questions. Yes, I'm showing them creative options as far as if you can get a seller credit, here's what a permanent buy down looks like versus a temporary buy down. I'm doing all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I have no attachment to the outcome of pushing someone. I don't believe in pushing someone. I believe in giving them the information, educating them, letting them ask me great questions so that they can decide what's going to be best for them.
so it's guttural transparency when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with clients right now, like what is the biggest issue that you're running across? Do you see anything different than you saw 6 months ago, or is it still the same steady Eddie?
Nothing's steady in this business. So, okay, there's a lot of new issues that come up all the time. Here's what I love about new issues. If you can all understand, anyone who's watching this, please understand that we always go, oh my God, this market is changing. This market is different. I've been in this business for 21 years and it's never been the same in any 6 months ever that I've ever been in the business. It's always changing. So don't be afraid of that. Number one. Okay, what am I seeing right now in customers that is different? Man, I walked in this morning and I wanted to kick myself in the nuts because I had 3 cancellations, right?
Yeah.
Like, so cancellations for me are definitely, that trend is way up. People
Okay.
getting into contract.
Why do you think that is?
To answer that question, I think it's that people have been waiting so long. A handful of these clients, they've been waiting for the right house. They've seen interest rates go from 3.5% to 7.5%. They didn't pull the trigger ever. Then they find a place and they're in a position where they can get an offer accepted right now because buyers are in control for the most part, right? And then they get in, and even though we've gone over the payments, even though we've gone over that this is what it looks like, they get scared that they're making a bad decision with all the uncertainty going on in politics. And I'm not a political guy, but in politics, in tariffs, in the markets going up and down. I mean, people just lost, 17% in their, 401ks and IRAs and stuff like that. So I just think that the uncertainty is making people a lot more picky, right, about what they are purchasing and what they feel comfortable with taking, like an educated risk on a house.
But one of the things that you told me that's always stuck with me, and this has probably been over a decade. You told me about your mission statement. You told me something to the effect of you have your mission statement and you recite it to yourself every morning when you wake up.
Yep.
And you say, if I'm not believing what I'm saying, I'll say it again and say it again until I believe it.
Yes.
Can you reboot that story? Because I think that is like, the hardest thing to do as a self-employed person is to show up and be on your game every day. It's Michael Jordan, a fan's never been here. He's going to want to see me at my best. Can you explain what that kind of means to you and what you do? And if you could, can you give us some insight into what that mission statement is? Because honestly, dude, I have ruminated on this for over a decade, and I've bastardized and retold your story a half a dozen times. I love it because it makes so much sense to me today, and it didn't when you told me.
So here's the cool thing about what you just shared is that, like, it's okay for it to be silly and stupid. By the way, I thought it was silly and stupid when I first did it. Like, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's cheesy. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter. But what is so important is that our output's only as good as our input. Okay.
Yep.
So, like, my output is only as good as the story that I'm telling myself all the time. Right. And being like that, like, we all tell ourselves stories. So you can call those lies. You can call them, truths. Lies and truths are kind of like, whoop. They're kind of the same thing.
They're bedfellows.
Yeah, they sleep together for sure. So, I just want to make sure that I'm inputting things that are good, that are going to get me fired up, that are going to make me do some things that I don't want to do. And I'm just like everyone else, man. I don't want to pound phone calls all day and, be like when I'm not feeling it, like I don't want to like just do the work all the time, but I do it anyway. So, my mission is always like, other people's money, good people deserve great advice, like creating wealth through real estate. And I have just a list of affirmations. I still have the same ones, by the way. They're on the back of my door right here so that I can see them whenever I'm feeling down or I'm feeling uninspired. And they're just reminders to myself, right? That, hey, my wife is my number one client. I should treat her like that. My kids are just kids. I shouldn't expect for them to behave like adults. I make 100 outbound calls a week. People are waiting for my call, right? I'm here to serve, not to sell. I could go on and on and on with these affirmations, right? Because I've said them so many times and they do work. Like, they work. I do them before I go to bed sometimes. Last night I was feeling down and out and a little bummed. And I sat there in bed and just to myself and was visualizing and telling myself that, hey, I'm capable of doing all this work. I'm capable, like to overcome anything that is thrown my way. And I think it's underrated, like, to just ignore the stories that you tell yourself, the narrative that you tell yourself. So yeah, my mission, purpose, vision is pretty clear. Like, and I do remind myself of it every single day, and it does work. So find what works for you. Write down a list of 20 affirmations. Figure out, like, what is going to move the needle, things that are positive. I'll give you a great example. So a lot of people, and I'm just going to keep talking, by the way, because I can't see, I haven't been able to see you for, I don't know, a minute or so. I have to remind myself, and we all have to remind ourselves that, like, an objection, what we view as an objection from a customer, from a realtor, from a referral partner, from whatever, a difference of opinion from someone else, I don't view objections as like I'm right or I'm wrong. I love objections because I view objections as just a request for information. It just means that they don't understand yet. It just means that maybe I need to articulate it a different way. It just means that like maybe I need to frame this a different way or I need to ask better questions. So whenever you get an objection, which so many people freeze on when they get objection about rate, about price, about affordability, about the type of loan program the person needs to qualify on, I don't view those as objections. I view them as like a request for information. And the more that you can brainwash yourself to view objections as a request for information and to view affirmations as the story that you're telling yourself of what is going to happen, it just makes all your interactions in business way, way, way easier.
It's funny when I talk with, like I said, top producers, it's always kind of the same story. I've always said we're so smart, we'll talk ourselves out of good ideas. And you're saying, I believe in the illusion. You're not even necessarily saying it's an illusion. You're saying it doesn't matter, provided you have the output and you're doing the things that you need to do.
I'm almost saying I'm so dumb I talk myself into doing the things that are going to make me successful.
But you would say, like, when you have a new loan officer, there's something to be said about like enthusiastically running your head into a brick wall. Like that enthusiasm will get you past like all your knowledge about loans.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
100%, 100%. So I tell like people this story all the time. Ignorance on fire is way more valuable than knowledge on ice. Way more valuable, way, because you can teach knowledge, you can
Yeah.
learn over time. But we got this great guy Trevor who works for me. He's literally got in at the worst time. Trevor, if you see this, I love you. Like got in at the worst time to be a brand new loan officer. He's like he got in 16 months ago, like into the business, and guess what he does? Runs through brick walls.
Yeah.
Just calls, does everything he asked me. What should I do? Here's the game plan. Run this play every single week forever, and he's closing 2 or 3 loans a month, like in this market, brand new with no relationships.
Whenever you talk to somebody, that's the only person who's there. You know
Ooh,
what I mean?
I
And I,
do know what you mean.
I think people who succeed in that business really understand what that's about. Like make that person special. Make that
Yes.
situation special.
I call it be where your feet are. Like be where your feet are. And this is something that I've worked on for a long time, and I'm forever going to be working on it. I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I really being present is another superpower. Like being exactly where you are. I'm not looking at
Yeah.
emails right now. I'm not looking at my text. I'm not thinking about what's next. Like if you can learn to be that present, you are going to engage in a way where people will open up more. They're going to be able to share their story more because you're not thinking about what your pitch is or what the next thing you're going to say is. You're just going to ask more questions. And at the end of the day, I probably sell the least amount when I say sell, like me actively going, I'm going to sell this person, right? On me. I probably sell the least that I ever have in my whole career at this point. And I've learned that like the real mastery of sales is that the customer actually sells themselves
Yeah.
on what they want to do. And you are just helping them facilitate how are they going to do it? Like,
Yeah.
and that's it. And once that happens, it's hard to lose a deal.
It's kind of like you never get closer to people. They have to do it's like a cat. Like with my cat, when I try to hold the cat wants to go.
Right.
But if I leave the cat alone, the cat will come closer to me on its own accord.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with our clients. We have to make ourselves available for them to get close. Like we are not going to make their decision. They have to make it on their own, even if we plant seeds. But it's always got to be their decision, right?
Yeah.
So all of the people around us, we have to give them the air to invite themselves closer to us rather than us running at them because we'll just scare them away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny when I think of like the best producers with realtors that I work with lenders that I work with, they all kind of have the same it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the people that you like. When I saw you yesterday, it was like, dude, I'm like, oh my God, I got to take this seriously. I've got somebody fantastic here. And we had a great time with the whole thing.
Yeah.
But do you understand that? Like you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can train it. What do you, I think we're talking a lot about what it is, but can you summarize that and kind of concentrate it and package it where somebody might be able to understand it who's not really finding what they need to find in this industry?
This is a tough one,
It
okay?
is.
Because,
By the way, it's $1 million question.
Yeah.
Because if there was an answer to it, everybody would do it. But like, what are the intangibles about those? And when you meet them. Like when you make your outbound calls and you tell yourself, your stories. There's calls that you make and they're fun, they're easy, and it's going to be received well. And then there's calls that you're going to make. You're like, well, I got to grind this one out.
Yep.
So those people reveal themselves to us all the time. But in your best estimation, like, what is it?
all right, so I am a walking contradiction. Okay. Like literally, there is a difference between natural it, okay, and then what can be learned, right? And what can make you be successful. And I do believe in both. And I am the utmost optimist, like to a fault sometimes, like the most optimist where I think anyone can do anything.
Okay.
But I've learned that that is not true. Okay. But I
Right.
still want to hold on to that belief no matter what. Um, for the sake of chance of that someone is willing to make massive change, right? So here's what I think it is. The it that we're talking about is a willingness to outwork everyone. Hands
Yeah.
down. You have to have great, if you have it, you're not afraid of work. Like that,
Yeah.
that's a fact. Like you are just not afraid of work, period. The second part to like having it is that you're not afraid to make a mess. Like, and people don't talk about this ever because we all want to look perfect and we love the highlight reels and, and all that stuff. But I have made a lot of mess in my life. Okay. And I have been a professional at cleaning it up, which is why I'm qualified to coach people, by the way. Like, so it's so finding fun in the mess, like, is a superpower that I know almost all the people that truly have it have created some very non-optimal situations for themselves
Yeah.
multiple times in their life. Okay. And they're not afraid of that. So, and when I say they're not afraid of it, they feel the fear, but they keep going anyway.
Yeah.
So that's another part of it to me. And then the third part of it would just be a willingness to always be learning. Like they're learners. Like the people that really have it are learners. They, even though they have like the no fear or lack of fear, feeling fear and doing it anyway, even if they're willing to make the mess, even if they're willing to work their ass off. If you can't do those three things without learning and be spectacular. If you don't learn like throughout all of those things, always be learning, then you'll never reach the heights that you could reach. Now, on the flip side of that, man, you can follow a freaking process and just do these things and not have it and still be really successful,
Yeah.
like in this business. So that's where I get confused sometimes on always answering this type of question where I'm like, well, there are people that have it for sure, right? And those people are going to be the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the you insert any goat, Tiger
All the
Woods,
yeah.
whatever,
Yep.
right? Like, yes, those people have it. You don't have to have it though to be successful in this business. You have to have discipline. You have to have processes. You have to be willing to do the work and be uncomfortable. And you have to be consistent because people that have it, they don't have to be consistent with the things that they do.
Yeah.
They're magnetic.
It's Copernicus. His greatest statement was, the only thing I know for sure is I know nothing. If you're always striving to learn something and you accept the fact that you don't know everything, where's your deficiency right now? Like, what is Jeremy working on? Because I kind of suffer from the same thing. I don't look at what I'm good at. I'm constantly like looking at what I'm bad at and my deficiencies. When I wake up, I see my deficiencies where I need to kind of fix them. Like, where's your deficiency? What do you think you need to work on?
So I'll give a couple. Okay. One is that I think I need to get better on my clarity. Okay. My clarity of where I want to go. I have a lot of balls in the air. Okay.
Okay.
Like on it. I think getting clarity on exactly where you want to go can be really challenging sometimes because you're having to become something that you haven't been before. That doesn't really apply to like my mortgage business necessarily,
Sure.
but they all bleed in together, right?
They
Lack
do.
of clarity equals lack of focus. All right. So I'm working on my focus right now on what's most important, what's critical that I do. So just to give you guys perspective, in the last 2.5 years, what are we, 2025? So since 2022, like I have downsized by like 65%, right? Number of employees, team members, salespeople, like you name it, everything, right? We went through hell, like with just cuts, cuts, cuts. And when you
Yeah.
do that, people change positions. You're reorganizing all the pieces on the war map over and over and over again. And then I got really, really, really involved again, which is good, by the way, with a lot of stuff I wasn't doing before. But now we're in like the new norm, in my opinion, in the last year. And I'm trying to figure out like, what is my leadership role? Like, what do I have to be exactly involved in? And what can I pawn off? How do I empower my teammates more now, because I feel like I've taken a lot of the power away. And so those are a couple things that, I'm struggling with. I look at, like, I need to be the best at explaining creative loan products. I put pressure on myself to learn that every single
Good.
week, because that is the biggest opportunity right now, is the creative loan products, non-QM, et cetera. So I spend time reading those guidelines. Every week, I spend time learning what exceptions can be made. I spend time like really studying that, because it changes all the time, you guys. like it literally, the same product might be different, like, in a week, or they come out with 4 more non-QM products. Well, what's the difference? So trying to stay on top of products is really, really, really important to me. And then just making sure that my discipline is at the highest level that it possibly can be, because when I'm trying to do too many things, I lose discipline, right?
Yeah.
In what I know I need to do and attack. So those are the things that I'm working on. It's just studying more, taking time out to learn more, making sure I'm not ignoring the basics that I know that work really, really good, and like also trying to be innovative and creative, right? Like at the
Yeah.
same time. So yeah, that's it. I would say those are the 3 things that I'm really working on and struggling with right now.
Hey guys, we're going to be doing this on a regular basis with Jeremy Forcier. I'm hoping on a weekly basis. I got to tell you, I have, as you guys know, I've traveled the country. I've spoken every state. I've been there, done that. Jeremy, to a similar extent, has as well. I got to tell you, I got more out of this conversation with Jeremy today than I got from 20 years of flying around the country and listening to all the professional speakers out there. We want to continue bringing you great content so you can find a way to make your business better. I got a great friend of Jeremy. He's somebody who I've always admired his business. I know what he does. I know what he's about. And Jeremy, I got to tell you, dude, this is like the coolest thing in the world. And I'm so happy that we ran across each other. And I'm so happy that we can rekindle and reboot this thing. And let's go down this road together and find out what it is.
I would love that. That's a really cool concept of what is it. I've thought about it like 50 times since you said it in my head. And I'm like, I wonder if it could be a million different things. I wonder if it's different, like in every person. Like, I wonder if so yeah, I would love to continue. And the feeling's mutual, by the way. Like, Brian's one of those people, you guys, like, I don't need to talk to him every day. I don't need to see him once a year. He has that thing where he's super smart. I super respect you. I love that you take wild chances with insane belief. And if I'm going to leave anyone with this, like, I wish I would have done more of that. Like, I didn't take a lot of the chances on the things that I really wanted to do. And I love that about you. Wild chances with massive belief. That is a form of it in itself. Wild chances, massive belief that this is going to work. And like, that's how you can do things that other people don't do. So thanks for having me on, man.
Dude, enthusiasm gets replaced by wisdom, and somewhere we could calibrate these things and make it work. And maybe that's where we're at right now, both in our lives. Dude, love you to death. You mean the world to me, and I look forward to this. Jeremy, thank you so much.
Later on.